This is Straight Talk with Enlivening Greg Fann, the Preacherman, and his sidekick Shanan Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fann, the Preacherman.
Well, welcome again to another edition of Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacherman, and Shanan E. Jones, who's in the studio today. And Shanan, how you doing today?
Doing all right. How you doing? I see you got your words together today.
Yeah, I do. All right. My words are together. My speech is together. And I want to say something to you that I am just proud of you and the Concerned Black Clergy and the work you guys are doing and you have been doing with Clergy with a Candle, praying. You've been out there, and we got so many people.
Still more work to do.
More work to do. You got these people that they got this gun stuff that's going on, this new gun law. You got a lot of killing going on. And Shanan, you were out front with a vision with Clergy with a Candle, and we started that with ministers, and we wanted to move it around and different praying, because the prayers is the key to the answer that people are looking for in terms of how do we stop the violence, because it's a moral issue. It's a moral issue. Some people didn't everyone taught that the Bible teaches that thou shalt not kill. Those are one of the commandments that God gave us, that thou shalt not kill. And we got people, and we don't put that aside. We kick it to the side. So we're preachers. So, this is straight talk. It's straight talk. Preachers talking straight talk. But we don't forget, this country has become a total immoral country. We're dealing with immoral things. We've forgotten about love your neighbor as yourself, do unto others as you having to do unto you. Those things that we were taught, those values and principles that we were raised up on, have been totally thrown out the window.
Oh, absolutely. We're allowing the country to be guided by culture and not by creator. And what happens when culture is like a mad scientist, and what happens when culture leads you, when your God is Facebook, when your God is your TikTok, when your God is, and you, that's where you pray to, right? So you pray, you go there and you tell Facebook family everything you're going through, TikToks, Twitter, everywhere. You want to tell everybody that, you're looking at that to find out where your wisdom is coming from, and you getting just a mix of all kinds of crazy media, crime, and just degradation. You internalize that, and when you begin to internalize that, the culture, mad scientist creates Frankensteins. The creator created human beings with a need to turn back to their creator. If my people will call by my name, humble themselves, and pray.
And we're back to prayer, right? We're back to prayer.
Wicked ways, seek my face.
Seek it.
And so that's what we need to do, is we got to get back to, the church has to come outside of the four walls.
Well, let me just say this to you, and say this to those that, when we say prayer, we're talking about sincere prayer. We're not just talking about praying, God bless me with a home, God bless me with a car, God bless me with a promotion on my job, God bless me, God bless me. This country, I grew up, we're doing the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. We had prayer, devotion.
Still even when I was young.
Yeah, but they took all of that away. And so we see that because when you it's like that little string on your, well, you don't have one, but it's just like having a little string that's right there, and you keep pulling it, next thing you know, the whole shirt is torn off, right? Yeah. And so, and that's what has happened to this country, because we have taken out where a song we used to sing, God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her, right? That song, when the last time you heard that song?
It's been a long time.
They don't sing it anymore. Yeah. Because
they don't want you to say God or Christ or anything like that.
Yeah, right. So
it's all culture driven.
It's all culture driven. But listen, Shanan and I are going to be back, and we're going to talk more about straight talk. We're going to be talking more today about Ms. Marjorie Green, who is a part of the Big Lie. about the insurrection, and we're going to be talking and seeing an interview for her when she was on the stand here in Georgia. Oh, Lord have mercy. She didn't read that scripture. Said, all lies will have their part in the lake of fire. Oh, my. You know, Shanan said, I'm a hell preacher. I'm a heaven and hell preacher. I am. We need more heaven and hell preachers because people need to understand.
Well, you just trying to scare the hell out of people.
Well, I'm trying to let people understand that there is a life after death.
You want the hell to be gone.
Absolutely. So we got to get back to those real values and those real things that the Bible teaches and move away from the satisfying the lust of the flesh, but getting back to those things.
If this country's going to be, now if the country's, because if you don't turn back,
right,
then you just pretty much saying where you want the country to go.
We do.
You know, and when you allow the cultural leaders to be the ones that turn you this way and turn you that way, you know, you spend more time at the red table than you do at the altar, then you begin to see all the stuff that you get.
All right. Well, we'll be back with more of that. You know, this is Straight Talk with great fan, the Preacherman and Shanan E. Jones. We'll be back on the other side after Miss C with Straight Talk News. And if you have Straight Talk News, you got news and information, hey, send it to Miss C, won't you? And she'll get it on. If you want to be a guest on the program with Shanan and I, hey, all you got to do is send it to Miss C. She'll get a schedule, she'll get you on, and you will be a guest right here with Shanan and I on Straight Talk. We'll see you on the other side after Miss C. And we're coming back with Margaret Taylor Greene. Woo, my God, the liar. Well, welcome again to another edition of Straight Talk with yours truly great fan and preacher man and Miss Shanan E. Jones, who's in the studio today. And Shanan, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How you doing? I see you got your words together today.
Yeah, I do.
All right.
My words are together. My speech is together. And I want to say something to you that I am just proud of you and the Concerned Black Clergy and the work you guys are doing and you have been doing with Clergy with a Candle, praying. You know, you've been out there, you know, and you know, we got so many
there's
people.
Still more work to do.
More work to do. You got these people that they got this gun stuff that's going on, this new gun law, you got a lot of killing going on. And you know, Shanan, you were out front with a vision with Clergy with a Candle. And we started that with ministers and we wanted to move it around and different praying because the prayers is the key to the answer that people are looking for in terms of how do we stop the violence, because it's a moral issue. It's a moral issue. Some people didn't everyone taught that the Bible teaches that thou shalt not kill. You know, those are one of the commandments that God gave us, that thou shalt not kill. And we got people, and we done put that aside. We kicked it to the side. Yeah. You know, I mean, so we're preachers. So, you know, this is straight talk. It's straight talk. Preachers talking straight talk. But we done forgot, this country has become a total immoral country. We're dealing with immoral things. We've forgotten about love your neighbor as yourself, do unto others as you having to do unto you. I mean, those things that we were taught, those values and principles that we were raised up on, have been totally thrown out the window.
Oh, absolutely. We're allowing the country to be guided by culture and not by creator. And what happens when culture is like a mad scientist, and what happens when culture leads you, when your God is Facebook, when your God is your TikTok, when your God is, and you, that's what you pray to, right? So you pray, you go there and you tell Facebook family everything you're going through, TikToks, Twitter, everywhere. You want to tell everybody that. You're looking at that to find out where your wisdom is coming from, and you getting just a mix of all kinds of crazy media, crime, and just degradation. You internalize that, and when you begin to internalize that, the culture, mad scientist creates Frankensteins. The creator created human beings with a need to turn back to their creator. If my people will call by my name, humble themselves, you know, and pray.
And pray.
You know.
And we're back to prayer, right? We're back to prayer. We're back to prayer.
Wicked way, seek my face.
Seek it.
And so that's what we need to do, is we got to get back to, so, you know, the church has to come outside of the four walls.
Well, let me just say this to you and say this to those that, when we say prayer, we're talking about sincere prayer. We're not just talking about praying, God bless me with a home, God bless me with a car, God bless me with a promotion on my job, God bless me, God bless me. This country, I grew up, we're doing the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. We had prayer, devotion.
Still even when I was young.
Yeah, but they took all of that away, and so we see that because when you it's like that little string on your. No, well, you don't have one, but it's just like having a little string that's right there, and you keep pulling it, keep pulling. Next thing you know, the whole shirt is torn off, right?
Yeah.
And so, and that's what has happened to this country because we have taken out where a song we used to sing, God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her, right? That song, when the last time you heard that song?
It's been a long time.
They don't sing it anymore.
Yeah.
Because
they don't want you to say God or Christ or anything like that.
Yeah, right. So
it's all culture driven.
It's all culture driven. But listen, Shanan and I are going to be back and we're going to talk more about straight talk. We're going to be talking more today about Miss Marjorie Green, who is a part of the big lie about their insurrection. And we're going to be talking and seeing an interview for her when she was on the stand here in Georgia. Oh, Lord have mercy. She didn't read that scripture. She said, all lies will have their part in the lake of fire. Oh, my. Shanan said, I'm a hell preacher. I'm a heaven and hell preacher. I am. We need more heaven and hell preachers because people need to understand.
Well, you're just trying to scare the hell out of people.
Well, I'm trying to let people understand that there is a life after death.
You want the hell to be gone.
Absolutely. So we got to get back to those real values and those real things that the Bible teaches and move away from the satisfying the lust of the flesh, but getting back to those things.
If this country's going to be because if you don't turn back,
right,
then you just pretty much saying where you want the country to go.
We do.
When you allow the cultural leaders to be the ones that turn you this way and turn you that way, you spend more time at the red table than you do at the altar, then you begin to see all the stuff that you get.
All right. Well, we'll be back with more of that. This is Straight Talk with Greg Fann, the Preacherman, and Shanan E. Jones. We'll be back on the other side after Miss C with Straight Talk News. And if you have Straight Talk News, you got news and information, hey, send it to Miss C, won't you? And she'll get it on. If you want to be a guest on the program with Shanan and I, hey, all you got to do is send it to Miss C. She'll get a schedule, she'll get you on, and you will be a guest right here with Shanan and I on Straight Talk. We'll see you on the other side after Miss C. And we're coming back with Margaret Taylor Greene. Woo, my God, the liar.
Hi, Miss C here with your 3-minute news blast or more. Hey, Greg. Hey, Shanan. Hope y'all are doing well today. Listen, I have a couple of things I want to tell you about that's coming up in the future. On June 18th, they're going to have the Mass Poor Peoples and Low Wage Workers Assembly. It's going to be a moral march on Washington and to the polls. That's happening June 18th. Now, they have all of the information on their website, and that's the Poor People, no, not the, but it's www.poorpeoples, and that's peoples with an S, campaign.org. That's poorpeoplescampaign.org. And if you'd like to attend, they have the RSVP button right there. You need to RSVP if you'd like to attend on June 18th. All right. Another future event, Launch Out into the Deep Conference and Bag Lady Collaborative Book Release will be held July 14th, beginning at 10 a.m. at the Douglasville Convention Center. That's 6700 Church Street in Douglasville. The conference will feature 2 dynamic speakers, Dr. Tanda Canyon and Dr. Yvonne Capehart. To get more information, you can check out the website at www.bagladybag.com, or you can call Prophetess Sandy at 678-886-9507. And if you look real hard when you go to the website, you may even see my picture. Anyway, the Decent and in Order Show invites you to listen in every second and fourth Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. on the Status Network.net, or you can download their app from the App Store. Now, during the show, that's 7 to 9 p.m. on the second and fourth Sunday, you can call in. They have a call-in line at 470-251-4343. That's 470-251-4343. 4343. All right. Now listen, I've got four things. I had been telling you it was three things, but Greg called me up and told me no, it's four things you need to tell them to do. Okay, so we're asking you very kindly to subscribe. There's a button on the front of your screen that says subscribe, and you just hit that button and you're subscribed to us, to Straight Talk News. And then we ask you to like us. Hit that like button. And then the third thing we want you to do is leave your comments. Let us know how we're doing. We would really love to hear from you. And the fourth thing is share. Share our broadcast with your friends and loved ones, church members, everybody. We want everybody to know about Straight Talk News because it's what's happening, right? Okay, well, we're going to see you right back here next time for more Miss C and more news. Okay, right here on Straight Talk News with Greg Fann, the Preacherman, and Pastor Shanan Jones. Bye now.
Well, Shannon, Miss C is always Miss C doing a great job. I mean, Miss C, we're still praying for Miss C.
Yes.
We're gonna keep praying for her, but she always does a good job. And Miss Tangy Canyon, Pastor Bishop Canyon's wife, and she's a great speaker. Hey, if you can get down there to that, ladies, please do get to that. Please get to that convention down there. And don't forget to watch Decent in Order. Check them out, the Decent in Order show with Carlos Porter, Rome Man Porter. Won't you do that? And we appreciate you so very much. And of course, as we're moving forward now, moving forward, the Poor People's campaign that's going to be on the 18th in June, the 18th of June with the Reverend Barber, and getting people to the polls to vote. We got to get people to the polls to vote. We got to vote like, we say this in elections pretty much. We got to vote like we never voted before.
That's right.
I was looking at a clip from the late Reverend Albert E. Love, something we did years ago. We were trying to get Bill 885 passed when it was the John Lewis Act back then because of voter suppression, because they were dealing with voter suppression then. And he saw when they gutted the article in terms of taking pre-clearance away, that was the beginning of voter suppression. That was the beginning of voter suppression when those southern states didn't have to be pre-cleared anymore. And that's what we're seeing now because they passed all of these laws now since pre-clearance has been taken away, right? So President,
you saw the need for it.
He saw the need for it then. I mean, he was a forefront visionary person seeing what was going on at that time. So now we're faced with that. Now we have a young lady, I won't say a lady, Miss Green, who has been elected in Congress, who was just finna get ready, had not been sworn in yet to be a congressional person, right? But was leading in a part of a act to overthrow the government by calling the election that was held a fake election. And Shannon, we can go back in history. Let's go back in history a little bit before we show Ms. Green. The Florida thing, we were talking about that the other day. The Florida, the hanging Chad with Al Gore. Yeah. Let's talk about a person who really wanted to deal with the country being a democracy as opposed to a dictatorship, that was willing to put things aside and not come up with a continual argument about that Chad, that hanging Chad.
Dangling Chad.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Mr. Gore. We don't hear much about Mr. Gore other than the climate change. He got off on climate change, and he was right on that too.
Right.
He was right on that. But let's talk a little bit about being a real person who really cares about this country.
Respecting the Constitution.
Right, versus a person.
And the peaceful transfer of power.
Right, and the peaceful transfer of power.
And when it was decided by the Supreme Court that he was not the president, Mr. Gore did what should be done by anybody who respects the Constitution. He stepped aside and he called to concede to President, now President George W. Bush.
Right.
He didn't like it. Wasn't something that he wanted to do, but he did it. Before that, his father, George Herbert Walker Bush, in '92, losing to Clinton. after one term, losing because of economic situation, losing because of the war.
Right.
He didn't like it, but he immediately got on the phone, conceded, and called the Clintons to come to the White House to sit down and to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, to talk about what's on my desk as President of the United States. Come sit here. You come sit behind the desk.
Yeah. Before you even sworn in.
Before you were sworn in, this is going to be your desk.
Right. These are going to be your headache.
This is going to be your headache. And I'm just telling you what you just been elected to.
All right.
And that I'm praying for you.
All right. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to show some news clips from the actual hearing that was held here in Georgia.
Can I just say?
Sure.
Well, go ahead. I don't want to preempt it.
Okay.
Just show it.
Yeah, I want to show it because
this Mary had a little lamb thing. She ain't going on there. It was like, oh, where is the vulture now?
But we're going to show it, and then we'll be back. On the other side, we'll have more comments from Shanan and myself. Don't go nowhere. Stay right here. And do share it with your YouTube friends. Won't you do that, family and friends? Tell them that we're on the air because we care. This ain't nothing but what, Shanan? Straight talk.
To watch. But before we get into Marjorie Taylor Greene's denials and evasions, let's just remind ourselves what she was posting on her own Facebook feed before the insurrection took place.
And this is an important time in our history. We can't allow this just to be gone, just to let it go. You can't allow it to just transfer power peacefully like Joe Biden wants and allow him to become our president because he did not win this election. It's being stolen and the evidence is there.
That is a call for violence. There's no other way to describe that other than incitement. I mean, what else is the alternative to a peaceful transfer of power? It's a tough clip to push back against, but Greene sure tried.
Is it fair to say, Representative Greene, that from election night of 2020 until January 6, 2021, your personal opinion and your wish was that Congress not certify Joe Biden as the winner of the 2020 election?
No, that's not accurate.
Sorry, not accurate. We just saw Marjorie Taylor Greene say herself there shouldn't be a peaceful transfer of power. She even voted against certifying Biden's victory on the night of the insurrection. Maybe someone forgot to tell her she was under oath today. Although outright denial was not really her go-to move in this hearing. Mostly she just couldn't remember, especially, weirdly, when it came to her long and shameful record of advocating for political violence.
Did you like a post that said it's quicker, that a bullet to the head would be a quicker way to remove Nancy Pelosi from the role of Speaker?
I have had many people manage my social media account over the years. I have no idea who liked that.
Okay. Are you testifying under oath it wasn't you? Just want to be clear on that.
I am testifying. I have no idea who liked that comment.
Fair enough. It could have been you. Right?
I'm telling you, I do not know.
Could have been anyone. Anyone. And it could just be that Marjorie Taylor Greene couldn't recall. And as we saw today, there was so much that she could not recall.
When did you first become aware that there were going to be large demonstrations in D.C. on the 6th?
I don't recall.
And who put it on your calendar?
I don't know.
Somebody on your staff, I take it?
I have no idea. I don't know. I do not recall that, no. I don't recall. I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't recall the exact days. I don't think so. I don't recall that at all. I don't know. I don't recall. That was the video, but I don't recall.
I don't recall. There was a lot of that today. Greene's seeming inability to remember anything that happened in her own life over the past few years reminded me of her mentor, disgraced ex-president Donald J. Trump, because when Trump was deposed in December of 2015, he cited memory lapses 59 times. Greene did catch herself one time during today's hearing when she tried to deny calling House Speaker Nancy Pelosi a traitor before suddenly, oops, remembering she said that on video.
In fact, you think that Speaker Pelosi is a traitor to the country, right?
I'm not answering that question. It's speculation. It's hypothetical.
You've said that, haven't you, Ms. Greene, that she's a traitor to the country?
No, I haven't said that.
Okay. Put up. It's Exhibit 5, please.
Oh, no, wait. Hold on now. I believe by not upholding the, securing the border, that violates her oath of office.
It could be.
Boy. Jesus. How many I can't recall because she said.
No. In fact, I can't call her Marjorie Taylor Greene.
What's you going?
Marjorie Tell a Lie. That's what I'm
Boy, you scold then.
Marjorie
You scold. Marjorie Tell a Lie. That's a good
Marjorie
story.
Tell a Lie.
Marjorie Tell Lies.
Yeah, Marjorie Tell a Lie. That's what it is. I mean, she sat there like Lil Bo Peep. You know, I don't remember that. And you don't remember what you don't see? What you just said, you don't remember that?
I don't recall.
Do you sleepwalk?
I don't recall.
Do you, you know?
My sister probably did it. Somebody I know. I don't know. I didn't do that.
Absolutely.
I can't recall.
Just a danger.
But you know, I do want to say this. I got to say this, Shanan, because when she was caught in one lie, she had to go back and recant it and say, "Oh yeah, wait a minute."
What did Grandma would tell you? You tell one lie, you got to tell another one.
You got to tell another one. I said, God, I said, man, but if I was the lawyer. After all them, I can't recall. I would have said, Mrs. Green, can you recall what you had for breakfast this morning?
Can you recall this morning? Was there a morning? Can we agree? Was there a morning? Or did we just come straight to afternoon?
Ooh, Jesus.
You know, and this is the same woman, you know, when the students were there, that the survivors from schools that have been attacked by, you know, fellow student shooting and gun violence survivors and victims went to Capitol Hill. She was walking behind the students and berating them. I didn't see that Marjorie Taylor Greene, the way she was berating the students and walking with such hatred behind them. I didn't see that Marjorie Taylor Greene on the stand, which tells me that there is a more softer, gentler, lying side of her. Right. But Marjorie Taylor Lie is right now facing the 14th Amendment because she has incited riot and insurrection against the government. Listen, do you know the Vice President the Secret Service never took him from the Capitol?
It's kept it on the
They went because what the Vice President didn't want was the optics of the Vice President of the United States. He didn't want 16 to 20 cars leaving the Capitol.
Right.
That, in other words, I'm the Vice President right now. I'm the highest ranking federal official.
It is
in this building, and if the ship is going to go down, I'm going down with it. So he stayed in the building. So while all of this was going on, the Vice President of the United States of America, the second most powerful person in the world, was in that building. Speaker of the House was in that building. That wasn't a tour, and it's not, you know, they've made all kind of things to make it funny. And the only way that I can stress, and I know our people get it, but man, let me tell you, if the Million Man March had ended with 2 million black men down there at the back basin of the Capitol, came up the stairs and started saying, we demand our 40 acres and a mule. We start tearing up windows and breaking into that place. They would have nuked us there, okay? They would have sent a targeted bomb. They would have unleashed something on us, and it would have been the most terrible thing that this country, once they got through spinning it, would be the most terrible thing that ever would have happened. I just want you to see this: 2 million men, the descendants of African slaves, who have been demeaned, who have been criticized, who've been demonized, who've been disenfranchised, came to the Capitol peacefully and stood there for a day peacefully at that Capitol and basically talked about the struggle that we're having in this country and calling on America, to, as Dr. King said, to be true to what you put on paper.
Well, you know, let's go back to the point of what you said about the 14th Amendment in terms of her violating her oath of office and being a part of a treasonous act to overthrow the government, which says that she should not be qualified to run for office. But let's go to her statement, what she said about Nancy Pelosi when she said that Nancy Pelosi should be killed for a treasonous act. But when we compare Nancy to what Nancy did and what she did, it's apples and oranges, right? So here we are now, and just for those of you who are viewing, is that we are taping this program before the judge makes his decision, because he's supposed to make a decision on Friday, and we air on Friday. So this is a pre-recorded program, so we don't know the outcome of the decision. However, we do know, based on the facts that have been presented, it is, in my opinion, and I'm certain that Shanan probably will agree with me, in his opinion, is that she should not be qualified to run for office, period.
No, she should be at Guantanamo Bay with every other terrorist that came to attack this country.
Yeah. So now we move to another. If the judge does, he's an administrative judge, so he can only make a decision that has to be then viewed by the Secretary of State. Now that's why it's important in these offices that we know the powers of these offices, the power that they have. And we're learning now more the power of many people who serve in these offices. The Secretary of State will have the decision as to whether or not he, Mr. Rothenberger, who is on the ballot to run for re-election, whether or not he will allow for her to stay on the ballot. Even if he says that she should not be on the ballot based on the evidence, the final decision is his decision. And it's been said by many, is that he's running for office. We're going to have to look and see, is he going to, if the judge decides that she should not, whether or not he will take her off the ballot. All the name would have to be on the ballot, but then let people know that if you vote for her, those votes won't count. So this thing is playing out for real. And this is what I think we need to talk even more about now, Shanan, is, and I just kind of preempted that by like the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, the role of the Attorney General. What is, we vote for these people, but
It's
then we don't but we really don't know the power that they hold in terms of over our life. We look at the legislators, they make the law, but these people enforce the law, and they have certain roles in their constitutional responsibility.
Exactly.
And being elected officials. So I think, and we got Secretary of State office coming up for election. We have
I think we got everybody.
everybody. We got the Attorney General, right? We have the Labor Commission. We have the Agriculture Commission. I mean, we got all these people running, but we got judges, which those, we just said that the judge has got to make, the administrative judge has got to rule now whether or not she can be on.
Can you imagine the threats that he's receiving?
Oh, he's receiving
right now.
Oh my God.
Just waiting.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what? And then, hopefully, that won't weigh into his decision.
Right. Hopefully, he'll be like the judge that ruled in the Aubrey's case.
Yeah.
He dealt with the facts.
Because the posse's out there.
Yeah,
They got the posse.
Yeah,
That was what that posse showed up at it's a real posse. That was the posse at the Capitol.
Okay.
On January the 6th.
Six.
That was the posse that showed up, and they got other posse that they threatened and this, that, and the other way. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I just wanted to just make sure that we understand what we're dealing with and the importance of why we vote. Because these people that we elect, constitutional officers, elected the legislative branch, the constitutional branch, those people enforce a lot of things that affect our lives. Sheriffs, DAs, those are constitutional officers. So we need to understand how government works, and not just vote for people because they are incumbents, not just vote for people because they have some good sound bites, not just vote for people because they got a D behind their name or R behind their name, or they're independent or Tea Party, but vote for people based on their moral values and whether or not they're sound in their judgment as it relates to looking out for people and not for themselves. Because we're letting people who continue to look out for themselves. We continue to get people under those demon domes. I call them demon domes because you got a lot of evil people down there making evil decisions like this gun law. That was an evil decision. And with all the killing that was already going on, then you're going to pass a law, a state law says all right for everybody can carry a gun, a constitutional carry, they call it. The Constitution gives you the right to carry, so we're going to go along with it. Everybody go ahead and carry a gun. Well, it said we had the right to bear arms. It didn't say we had the right to carry arms.
Without any restriction.
With no restriction.
We don't check to see who's holding the gun or this, that, and the other. Well, people with mental health, how you gonna know?
How you gonna know? How you gonna know?
How you gonna know? There's no more process to do that. That's culture, though. That's culture. I mean, in other words, they're playing to their cultural base. That if you give us this, we'll give you the vote. And you see that Kemp is up in the polls now. Trump is pushing for Purdue,
right? And
so everyone thinks the Purdue train is working in the Senate race, right, against between Herschel Walker and in the primary.
Right.
He's 64-something%.
Right. Oh yeah, in terms of
and they all the other ones are down. I think Commissioner Black is like at 7% or something like that. Right. So the cultural thing is working the cultural thing is working in over here.
Right.
The Trump cultural thing. Right. But it ain't working in this race. In this race here, because of things like constitutional carry and all that, folks are deciding to move over to the Kemp train. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this thing plays out.
We can talk about this all day, but we watched the debate the other night.
Yeah.
Between Twilla D and Twitter Dom. Mm-hmm. That was what I call it, Twilla D and Twitter Dom. Mm-hmm. And you had them. I mean, it was a joke. I mean, when we started talking about people talking about, well, Kemp is lowering the gas price. Now Purdue hit him on that. He said to win. So after the primary, then the 24th, so the gas price is going right back up. Right. And people get all excited. Oh, he lowered the gas. How long? For what? Less than 90 days? Less than 90 days? He gave you a break for 90 days. That's all it was, 90 days. So after the election's over, gas go back up to $4, almost $5 a gallon. Then you're going to be like, oh man, gas prices are so high. But who's going to deal with the real issues in terms of the inflation? How are we going to deal with the inflation? How are we going to deal with making sure that people can feed their family? How are we going to deal with these issues where people and young families are being, young single mothers are being forced out of properties that they've been renting because now homeowners are selling those properties that they can get astronomical amounts of money. Apartments are too high; they can't live in them. How do we deal with real issues of homelessness? How do we dealing with those real issues and those issues that affect people every day? How do we, when you want to lower crime, the way to lower crime, in my opinion, is to make sure that people can take care of the things that they need to take care of for their families. Have decent health care, have decent wages, have a decent place to live, being able to put food on their table. I mean, all those things that are dear to people, that's how we lower crime. But if I can't feed my family, I'm going to commit a crime.
Well, see, crime is growing because poverty is growing.
Growing.
And so what it is it's an outcry because of the expansion of poverty. So we won't expand Medicaid. We won't expand, but we're going to expand the use of guns. We're going to expand, and so those who have been marginalized and disenfranchised, I think the Brookings Institute had said, starting from 2017, they were tracking and saying that 86% of all people who are homeless are black. 86% nationally, right? So then you began to look at this. I have a gentleman that has a 725 credit score.
Right.
got caught up in his rental situation. They did the moratorium. His job, was very low. He was doing the best he could to pay his bills, catch up on things, putting things in order. They evicted him out of his place. And he has now spent a great deal of money, thousands of dollars, in application fees. That they know they're not going to bring you in. They take your application fee, but because the stigma of the judgment from the moratorium of you not paying the $20,000 or $30,000 that they think somebody's supposed to have when no one has any money.
Sure.
Okay, so they put that noose around your neck, and when you go to apply to any place, a nice apartment or a flea bag place, they look at this and they deny you, but they take your application fee. So we're watching, and this is why you got to have truth tellers. This is why you have to have a prophetic operating. We are growing in poverty. We are putting more children under bridges than in apartments and in homes, even in shelters. And everybody's sitting back, and not everybody, but far too many, are allowing this to happen, and you're not seeing this. But you're seeing the effects of it.
Right.
But no one's asking, what's the effect of it? Well, we need mental health. Yeah, you need mental health because you're driving people into insanity.
Right.
By the stuff that you're doing. When you make someone who's a hard worker lose their job and their home and their car because you won't answer the phone at the unemployment office for months, and you let Georgia workers, people who have paid into this economy, you send them under. Goes back to Grandmaster Flash. Don't push me, because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
Well, let us just be clear. This is Straight Talk. And of course, if you have comments, make your comments there for Straight Talk. Excuse me, this pollen got me. But do, by all means, make your comments. Let us hear from you. What do you think? What do you feel about what's going on? Now, early voting begins Monday here in Fulton County, for those of you who live in Fulton County. Saturday voting is the 7th and the 14th. And we want to turn out like we never turned out before on Saturday voting. So let's, pastors, if you're listening, pastors, let's get your members geared up to go vote early that Saturday, the 7th and the 14th.
Now it's time for the fish fry.
Yeah, now. So we're gonna be talking more about it, because we're gonna be dealing with the South Florida Ministry Alliance.
Yeah.
We'll be dealing with the CB,
Yes.
and other organizations. We want you to get involved in this movement. It's a movement.
Vote Saturday.
We can't wait. We can't wait for somebody to do for us what we need to do for ourselves.
That's right.
What does Kenny say? Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. So we can only do for ourselves. Let's do for ourselves. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Because this is important, because it's our grandkids and our great-grandkids' future that we're fighting for, right? We may not be here, but our kids and our grandkids will be here. And we want to leave a legacy for them, as Dr. King and Abernathy, Ozell Williams, Y.T. Walker, and so many others. And I can go on and on and on, C.T. Vivian, and so many others have done and left for us. Let us continue to work. Let us make sure that justice prevails and that righteousness roll down like a mighty stream. Until next week, you stay tuned to Straight Talk with nobody but yours truly, Great Fann, the Preacherman, and Shanan E. Jones. And as Shanan would always say, this ain't nothing but what? Straight Talk!
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fann at fann922@comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shanan Jones and Greg Fann, the Preacherman.